¿Qué le piden a los jueces ahora?
Que me concedan mi libertad.
El aborto es un crimen. Gracias a nuestra Constitución, El Salvador no permite el aborto desde ninguna de sus visiones.
Es un acto cruel, es un acto barbárico.
Primero dijeron que era aborto y después lo cambiaron de aborto a homicidio agravado. Me penaron para 30 años.
A mí se me ocurre que los jueces ni siquiera leyeron la autopsia. Es totalmente una conjetura que no tiene ninguna base material ni tampoco tiene base científica.
In El Salvador, abortion is prohibited in all cases.
A country that has some of the world's strictest abortion.
17 women are currently in San Salvador prison, convicted of killing their babies.
Estamos hartas de esta situación. Estamos hartas que nos sigan violentando este maldito sistema capitalista patriarcal.
Jamás en la vida se me había ocurrido que yo, Teodora Vázquez, iba a estar en una cárcel. Nunca.
Welcome on stage, Celina Escher, director of this movie, and Mónica Hernández Rejón, producer. Seek the light. A little step forward.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, in this, my role here today, I'm not supposed to have any opinions, but this film made me mad. I mean, really, really angry. But yet, as you can see, I mean, El Salvador, an extremely conservative country with the strictest anti-abortion laws in the world. But yet, you don't want to that these women would come through as victims. How come?
Well, first, I'm a Salvadorian. I'm a feminist, and for me, it was really important to focus that the women are survivors of all this type of violence. They have experienced sexual violence, physical violence, obstetrical violence, state violence, and police violence. So for me, it was important to show that they are survivors, not victims. So this is why I focused in the process of empowerment of Teodora, the main character. And it was also important for me to denounce the human rights violation that's happening in El Salvador and to contribute to the struggle for the liberation of the 17 and for the right to choose.
So the 17 were the original 17 women who were sentenced, and then the campaign started, but there were more.
Yes, at the beginning were 17 women, but now there's 189 women that have been convicted because of this anti-abortion law, and they all had obstetrical emergencies, but they're all being criminalized. And what's also important to say that only women who live in conditions of poverty have been convicted, and no woman with money has been in jail. So this is actually also not only a misogynist law, but it's also a classist law.
To quote a couple of the women, one of them says that a pregnant woman loses her rights, and El Salvador owns us women, property of the state. But yet you want to portray hope and strength through the film. How? What would you like to say about that?
Well, at the beginning, I also was really angry about the situation, but then I went to the prison and I met Teodora and the 17, and then all this anger that I had transformed into something else, into admiration to the strength they have inside and also the sisterhood they have woven inside prison. So I wanted to focus that, how strong they are.
And Teodora has been released. And what has happened to her since? And how did your collaboration come about?
Well, since the beginning, I talked to her about the idea to make a film, and she agreed. And since then, well, it took 4 years, the whole process. And now that she's outside, she founded a women's organization from and by the 17, and is helping the women who got released in the process of reinsertion into society, but also to support the women who are still inside prison.
Since we're talking so much about pregnancies, this film is your baby, but what does the future look like for the baby?
Yeah, we actually had like 7 babies in the production during the process.
Oh,
so
okay, good.
It was a very pregnant film. Yeah. But we have a long journey now ahead of us. It started with the premiere in March in Tempo, and then it has traveled a lot. The film, it has been very good because it's all the human rights circuit in all the big festivals. It was screened at Hot Dogs and Seattle Film Festival, Movies That Matter, and it has actually been really nice because it has really made an impact, and it has been presented in situations where it can be like improvement for the women's life in El Salvador. And we have now a couple of festivals still. Nordisk Panorama, Berlin International Human Rights Film Festival, and soon the premiere in Mexico, in Guadalajara Film Festival and other festivals in Latin America.
Let's hope more people get really, really angry. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.